Oh, I'm going live, yo. Going live. Yes, that's correct. I'm trying to see how my audio's doing. I don't know. Yeah, I will be streaming. Okay. And yo, what's going on? What's this guy's name? T-Virus Terrence. Like something tells me to stay away from promiscuous women. Well, you might be right on that. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Just, I gotta get this. Let's see here. Hey, thanks for the people I got in right now. What is this guy? It says, "What's up, T-Virus Terrence, and XO." Like something tells me to stay away from promiscuous women. T-Virus says you have a good channel. My instincts, I can't explain, just something in the spirit of the woman. Yes, they may be physically appealing, but their past and these actions and worldviews is a major turnoff. Hey, that's pretty true. Hey, what's up? How's it going, Karen Thompson? How's it going? Nice home. Your house looks peaceful. Hey, you know what? Speaking of it, I'm about to. I need some incense in my life, real quick. You know what I mean? I need to burn some incense. Hold on a second. All right, when I got, if you guys can hear me all right, let me know. But you see this right here? I wish I could see it in the. Oh, here it is. All right, look, I'm gonna see if I can get this. Is it gonna? I can't get it. Okay, there you go. You might be able to see it from here. Yeah, that's better. So, sandalwood. Sandalwood is a very man. I've been burning these for like $3. You get 40 sticks, and I'll probably burn through like 3 in a day, and maybe 4. No, probably never 4. But how's it going, Tyler? Tyler Durden, isn't that dude from Fight Club? All right, sounds clear. That's good. Yes, I have albinism. I'm black. Both parents are black. I'm gonna burn these incense real quick. Looks like somebody's hitting me up on my. I'm still here, guys. I'm just waiting for you guys to pop in. You know what I'm saying? When I get like 15, 20, I'm gonna start talking. Yo, Aaron, what's going on?
What up, man?
I'm streaming right now. Everything all right?
Oh, you're streaming. I'm
All right. Chime in if you want.
Alright, well, send me the link. Or how do I do that?
Just look on my page. That should be the first thing.
Alright. Check it out.
Yo, guys. Yeah, man, I'm gonna keep it going. Here's what I'll say. Right now, the topics are getting a little bit, I guess, fewer and farther in between, just because I'm trying to make sure that the content I put out is congruent and is consistent. This guy is racist. Who's racist? Pixel the man. I wanted to know who this guy thinks is a racist. But anyways, Mood Ronnie, thank you. Hello, James. How's it going? I think it's pronounced Mood Rami. What's up, King? Joel Hemmings. How's it going, Joel? All right. Yo, Shakoba, how's it going? I remember you from last time, Mr. Complex. Am I a racist? I mean, to the human race, I think the humans are pretty awesome. I don't know what you mean by that question. I'm not even going to respond. It's a stupid question. If you got a claim you want to make, go ahead and make it. Let's see. All right. So these are just some of my thoughts right now. I've been thinking about making a video on it, but I actually might have just want to do an impromptu where I'm just talking to you guys, speaking on the subject of kind of like a woman's influence, a woman's prowess, or a woman's influence, her allure. I'm gonna look up a definition real quick to see if it encapsulates what I mean. It's not necessarily a prowess, because a prowess is a skill or expertise in a particular activity or field. But let me just look at the title, or let me just mention the title again. The woman's bubble of desire. Now, let's do a brief recap. So, last time I was on here, or second to last time I was on here on the live, I was talking about my good cousin. Let's go through that just briefly. There's a woman who, at a young age, she had a series of ideas. She's a good-looking woman, still to this day. But a woman's attraction is even more potent the younger she is. Sometimes, women age from like 20 to 28, they get a little bit more attractive. But a lot of times, women tend to be most attractive from like 18 to 25. So this would be the age bracket that she was in. Whereas her level of influence was strictly based off of how people wanted to approach her, how people wanted to be with her, how people wanted to attach themselves to her. People wanted things from her, specifically men. Just by her being attractive, men are going to treat you a certain way. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this topic up, and I wanted to recap, is because there's a congruent theme amongst a lot of the women, including the last video. If you guys watched the last video, I was reviewing an email where this lady sent to me where she was having issues really trying to reconcile the persona that she was putting out versus how she felt inside. So the modern woman nowadays, it's a pretty popular term, modern woman. She is almost like a celebrity. And what gives her celebrity status is how attractive she is. But before in the past, where there was no social media, she would never go noticed. Her fame would be amongst a local area, but it wouldn't span World Wide Web because it didn't exist at the time. So before social media, it was kind of hard for a woman who you might consider very highly attractive to get all these leads from other states. She might be in Ohio. Her influence would just stay in Ohio. But now it has gotten to a point where the influence that she has, because of how many people can see her online, it has become exponential. And it's an influence, it's a bubble. I don't necessarily know how to articulate it, which is why this is kind of a rant / impromptu improv. I might even make a video in it in the future too, once I can fully articulate my ideas. But this is what I'm trying to get at. The amount of validation and the amount of men approaching, the amount of men constantly positing to court with her or to get her in the bed, it leads to a woman's very distorted sense of ego. Now, I want to mention something in the chat. EXO, in the very beginning of the chat, he said, "My instincts, I can't explain it. Just something in the spirit of the woman. Yes, they are physically appealing, but their past and their actions and worldviews is a major turnoff." This is the thing. Sometimes when you're spoiled, you're going to act spoiled. If you grew up and your parents gave you everything you wanted, how are you going to act? You're going to act. It's going to easily show in how you treat others. It's going to easily show in how you behave, how you move around, how you move through life. Man, I hate this stupid Google. I don't know why she thinks I'm talking right now. How you move through life is going to show. So as EXO was explaining, like, yeah, these women are very appealing, but there's something kind of like yucky about them. I'm attracted to them in one end, but once they open their mouth, it's almost like, once I hear what they believe in, it's like, oh. Because think about it, she's never had to be challenged. You guys ever play a game on like easy mode? Like there's beginner, there's medium, there's hard, and there's expert, right? The woman almost is in between tutorial and easy a lot of times, because when you look a certain way, people are going to treat you like you're a god on earth, because being associated with you, it validates them. It's arousing. So especially how a man is going to treat you, because a man is so sexually driven. We're so sexually driven. I mean, ever since a young age, I can't remember a time where I wasn't thinking about intercourse, or I wasn't thinking about a girl's boobs, or I wasn't like, oh man, I want to kiss some girl. I've always been like this. I've always been kind of like, ooh, intercourse. It's always floating around my head. I don't know if I have it more or less than a lot of men, but I'm trying to explain that men are very sexually charged. And then you add on that the fact that there's billboards going around on the freeway. You add on the fact that there's a celebrity, wearing scantily clad clothes on a show that you just press on the television to watch. To add on the fact that you have video games that have women and revealing stuff, then that's when I'm a kid. Now you go into, okay, now I know what, now I get access to the internet. What do you think I'm doing on the internet? I wouldn't do much on the internet. But when I found out, wait, I can watch boobies on the internet? I don't even remember when the idea clicked in my head. I didn't think about when the idea clicked in the head. But I'm gonna tell you guys, as soon as I got access to the internet, it got so bad one day that my mom called me. My mom called me and she was like, "Jane, what you doing with all this nasty movies on your?" See, look, I'm keeping it 100. And This is how a lot of men are at a young age because we don't have any supervision. We deal with kind of like not being accepted at school, maybe not being popular. We see kind of how women are treated, how women treat the popular man, and we see how we're not like that. I wasn't in football. I wasn't like a president of any society at school. I didn't have any prospects for women to be like, ooh. All I had was me being kind of like a clown. I guess I had that kind of going for me. But what I'm trying to explain is that the sexual nature of a man is being cultivated by society from a very young age, to the point where now he becomes an adult, or at least a pubescent adult, where he's thinking about women in a certain light. And then you add on what he learned from TV, you add on what he learned from the movies, how he needs to approach, how he needs to court, how he needs to approach, how he needs to initiate, how he needs to basically provide in every way. The woman gets all of the benefits of that. There's a woman out there who's attractive to men. You see that? You see how low of a bar that is? All you gotta be is attractive to men. And a woman will get a certain type of attention because the man wants something from her. But what she doesn't understand a lot of times is the man is chasing kind of like an idea. He's chasing an ideology in his head. He's chasing a fantasy. He's chasing maybe what he's seen on TV. He's chasing a dream. I'm not saying it's always wrong, but a lot of times it can become kind of distorted, especially when the man makes concessions to his morals, his boundaries, to get with this girl. Now think about that. Okay, everybody, listen, don't read the comments. Think about this. Right now, you're a woman in college. You got an Instagram, you got full access to social media, full access to the internet, you got your own phone, you have your own place, or you're away from your parents. And let's just say you're 8 out of 10 in attractiveness. And that's how men see you. How much attention do you think you're going to get? A lot, right? Okay, how about this? When you are late to a date that a guy that you met at the college sets up for you, if you are late, how many men do you think are going to say, wait, you're late? How many men are going to leave after you're 5 minutes late, or 10? No, they're going to stay and they're going to wait like a dog looking out the blinds, right? Looking out the blinds like, where's she at, man? Is she gonna come? Right? Because he's trying to chase that fantasy. How many men do you think you can walk over because of how you look? This man is trying to cling to you as he meets you. He likes what he sees and he wants it. He's trying to get it. So he's gonna make concessions in every which way. All right, okay, so the answer to that question is not a lot of men are going to hold her to being on time. Not a lot of men are going to say, hey, wait. Why are you 15 minutes late? Or better yet, he's going to be like, wait. We agreed to 7:30 and it's 7:55. Oh, I'm gone. I'm just going to leave. I'm not even going to let her know. Whether she's here or not, I'm not even going to, whatever. How many men are going to be like that? Can anybody answer in the chat from like in the chat? I need you guys to answer. How many men are going to hold an attractive woman accountable in 2021? How many? How many men? What percentage? Can I get an answer? Let's see. Yeah, you're right. Keep it up. Oh, I forgot when I asked that question. I see 100%. Maybe that came before I asked the question. I don't know what that is. Is that a toilet? Is that 1%? I would say it's around 3 to 1%. Now I can't quantifiably verify it, but I know that I didn't hold women accountable. I didn't say, hey, look, why are you not on time? What's going on? Like, no, I'm not even gonna mess with this chick anymore because she's not on time. How many? I wasn't like that. Very low, not many, 1%, 3%, 5%, probably around that percentage. Okay, so now think about this in the opposite spectrum then, and extrapolate this to other scenarios. Whether a woman has an attitude, whether a woman has some very toxic ideologies like feminism, whether she believes in equality and man and then whatever political stance she takes, whatever outlook she has towards her future, whether it's right or wrong, but more specifically if it's wrong, it doesn't matter because the man has this fantasy in his head and he's trying to grab it. He wants it so bad. He wants it so bad that it doesn't matter if she's a feminist. It doesn't matter that she's late. It doesn't matter that she's masculine. It doesn't matter that she's always that she got an attitude. She's always trying to, disagree with him. She's making his life hard. She's bringing drama into his life. It doesn't matter because in his heart and his emotions and somewhere in his mind, he said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to hold on to this chick's ankles regardless of how far she drags me through the mud. So the woman, in turn, she gets to keep all this reinforcement, all of this feedback. And the feedback is like this. I don't need men. You guys are disposable. I don't need you guys. I get applications of a different John every week. All I gotta do is post a picture of me sitting on the sink, or a post of me having fun with my girls outside where I'm showing some tail, and I will get new applications recurring for years. All I gotta do is just be attractive. So women kind of get this idea of men not having any value because there's so many. Just think about it, like supply side economics it supports this. When you have so many men, it's really hard. When you have so much supply, it's really hard to see the value in it because it'll always be there. But on the opposite, how is the man treating a woman? The man is treating a woman like, oh my goodness, man, like she is so fine, like she's one of a kind, right? In your mind, you say she's so fine, but subconsciously, you're almost like she's one of a kind. I'm not saying that women aren't special, but I'm saying that you think her beauty is special. You think her beauty is special because it's hard for you to get it. So you're going to view her in a sense like she's valuable because she's hard to obtain, or at least that's what's perceived. Now, on the opposite end, once again, the woman is saying, I can replace you. Your best friend would want to take me out. Everybody who you talk to, they can do exactly what you're doing. But that's what's happened. So you're going to almost be like, as a woman, you're almost going to be cocky. You're going to have your head up in the clouds. You're going to look down on people because what else have you been exposed to? Have you been exposed to a man who's going to say, no? No, you haven't. So this bubble of desire, it involves political ideology, it involves bad behavior, it involves toxicity, it involves any type of personality traits that you might have that are not good to have. It doesn't matter because so long as a man wants to sleep with you, so long as a man wants to put a ring on it, he's going to fight tooth and nail to resist his own spine, to resist his own conscience, just so that he can have you, just so that he can have his fantasy fulfilled. And what this does is it creates a fantasy in the mind of the woman because she grows to think that what she's got going on, it's never going to end. Think about it. When a person is spoiled as a child, do they ever consider the fact that the money might come out, that the money might dry up, that maybe the father or the mother might lose their job or that the company might collapse, and that, hold on, do they ever consider that they're going to actually have to work in the future if things go wrong? Do they ever consider the fact that their parents might kick them out? They don't. Okay, so does a woman ever consider the fact that, what if you get hit by a car? What if you get some type of a flesh-eating disease? Okay, I know these are kind of extremes, but how about something even less extreme? What if you start gaining weight? What if you start aging? But here's the problem, guys. Here's the problem. I think if you guys ever heard the term the wall is kind of like the way that a woman kind of at a certain age, she gets to a certain age, and it's like the level of attraction that she can get, the level of attraction, it goes down, and it's almost permanent. So, you know, some women have natural conventions such as Botox or plastic surgery, like some of the Kardashians, in order to counteract that, and it works for them. But a lot of women don't have access to that. So what happens is her youth and her beauty, they kind of escape her, but so does the bubble, so does her influence. So the reason why I'm making this video is the reason why I'm bringing this up is twofold. The first reason is to kind of help women see that the way to really be as a woman is not to be in this bubble. It is to have a realistic expectation and a realistic understanding of what you want, of what's coming, what you deserve, what you don't, instead of this distorted one. Because think about it. What if right now, it works just like it does in the free market. In the free market, if people are constantly telling you that they want your product, they're going to buy it, right? If they keep buying your product, why do you ever think that you need to improve the product? If no matter what product you put out, they're going to buy, why would you ever innovate? Maybe you would innovate for more, but a lot of people, let's just be honest, they're going to be complacent with just getting a certain amount of product sold, and that's it. They're going to go home to their wife or their husband, and they're going to sleep on it. But if their product starts to get less money, or if there's a competitor taking money away from the products they're selling, they're going to be like, okay, well, maybe my product needs to be smaller, faster, more convenient, more efficient, and whatever it does. All right, but women don't have that stimulus. They don't have that incentive. The woman is given this behavior from men. Regardless of how you treat me as a man, I will still want you. I will still have a boombox outside of your window in the rain. I will still write you love letters. This is how a lot of men are. They have no spine. I'm not shaming men. I'm just explaining just an explanation of what it is. A lot of men have no spine. A lot of men have no boundaries. A lot of men, they don't stand up for themselves. Okay, so I'm going to get to some of the advice for women, and I'm going to get to some of the advice for men. But let's read some of these comments. Started from where I left off. Hey James, how are you and what did you have for breakfast today? ASMR helper. What did I have for breakfast today? I had a protein shake. I usually have 2 of those a day. Let's see. Oh, I'm early. Briefly flesh. Oh, I think I remember you, Miss Fresh. I think you're the chick who was talking about you stopping makeup. How's your makeup journey going? You're trying to get rid of it. How's that going? Hope it's going well for you. When are men going to challenge women for the wife position? Yes, it's interesting, Mr. Daniels, that you have alluded to exactly what I'm about to get into. You're right. Keep it up. Thanks, Motorami. D the Gamer 86. Not many. No. I should hope she says she's sorry. I wish I knew the context of that. It's hard to apologize when you're spoiled. Yeah, because you're always validated for it, no matter how you act, whether good or bad. It doesn't matter to bed her, but usually he won't wife her. Yeah, but for some reason that doesn't compute with women. A lot of women, some women are wise enough to kind of say, oh wait, this man wants me for what? But how many other thousands of men want me for this? Let me speak on that for a second. I don't get it. It's almost like there are some men out there who are okay with women using them for their money. We call them Johns. We call them tricks. We call them, they're not men who we hold in high regard, who pay for intercourse or romance with women. Like, there's something stupid about that. It's like, you want this transactional relationship, and that's how you're supposed to be fulfilled. Like, what about a child born out of a relationship like that? It's obviously not going to be good. I wouldn't want my son to do this behavior. But we don't have a society that praises men for paying for intercourse with women, or going to another country and spending money on a romantic relationship. It's kind of like the people who go to the Philippines and like just have a woman that they buy. I don't see how that's honorable. It's because it's like every man, at least I know, for me, I like to work for my relationships. I like to make sure that my relationships are good. I like to put effort and time into them. I don't want to just put money into them. I want them to be more genuine, and I want them to be organic. But I'm saying that as a society, we don't necessarily praise men who do that. But for some reason, we praise women who have these multitudes of transactional relationships with men. It's like, okay, and so this is the analogy I'm trying to, or the parallel. There's women who want to use men for their money. Okay, there's men who want to use women for intercourse. All right, but we have a society now where the women, I don't remember which hand I use, but we have a society now where the women are praised for having men use them for intercourse. But I don't get how that's admirable. I don't get how that's liberating. It seems like it'll actually enslave a person, both parties. But let me keep reading. The channel is devolving into MGTOW territory. I'm out. All right, Mr. 9 Razzler. MGTOW, men going their own way. I think men should probably go their own way, and on their way where they're going, they need to find a wife. But MGTOW is against marriage, so I'm not against marriage at all. I think if men were married, women wouldn't act like this. If men didn't want to cheat, and if men were faithful to their wives, there wouldn't be a lot of this hoopla going around. He has videos on MGTOW. That's correct, Shakota Complex. Yeah, I got smacked around by a bunch of commenters. Well, I wouldn't call it smacked around, but they definitely didn't agree with what I had to say on that video. The modern day dating and its men go their own way. Doesn't matter, just listen. All right, Stefaxian, Kevin Samuels talks a lot about this. High value men won't pick women like that. Well, Stephanie Ann, my bad. I totally butchered your name. My eyesight's terrible, by the way. Stephanie Ann, high value men. Yeah, but most men are not high value based on his definition. Most high value men, according to Mr. Samuel's definition, is you got to have at least $10,000 a month which is $100,000 to $120,000 a year for 5 years. You have to be known by your peers. You have to have a LinkedIn level reputation as to which people know. You have to have a certain value that you provide to society. I mean, that's less than 10% of men, especially if they're single and straight. But for all of us men, including myself, who are left over, like I still won't put up with a woman like that. I rather die alone, to be honest. Ironically, the problem is a lot of men are not like that. Men who are, because think about it, even in the top echelon of men, like a Trey Songz, for example, he's not married. He goes through at least 1,000 women a year. He has no remorse, no regard for any woman's womb. He is playing what I would like to call reverse whack-a-mole with his wiener. He has reckless abandon for his sexual pursuit. And when you have the money and the clout and the prowess to do that, you're going to do that. So it's not necessarily a behavior that's exclusive to women. It just shows up in a different way. If a man has power and his options, you don't think he's going to exercise them to the fullest extent until maybe he gets bored? Or maybe there are a lot of men who are going to live in that. So these high value men, this doesn't assume not nowhere in Mr. Samuel's definition of a high value man did he mention any morality, any spirituality, whether they know God. How much of a, I mean, some of those things might be implied, because if you have a business, maybe you're honest, which means a lot of people trust you, which means you're able to capitalize on the honesty. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't live a double life, because there's a lot of men who cheat on their wives. There's a lot of men who have tons of money who are horrible fathers. So it's kind of a it's overly complex to me. But respect to Mr. Samuels. Let's see. Agreed. He is great. Kevin Samuels is cool. Like he be spitting some bars. I just don't agree with the whole men don't cheat, they just exercise options. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't driving drunk. I was just driving under the influence. Like, you're literally saying the same thing, my guy. Like, whatever, regardless of what you're trying to say and how you're trying to say it, it's still the same thing. But I digress. Let's see. A lot of weak men out there nowadays. Yeah, and it's the reason why all these women are kind of like bucking and they're out of order right now, because men don't want to say, you know what? If you act like this, I'm not even going to have intercourse with you. I don't even. Here's what I'll say. Back in the day when I used to be ducking and diving around these women, even I couldn't have the pride to sleep with a certain type of woman who's just evil. Who's an evil woman. Maybe I might have made the mistake of and finding out later. But if I know a woman is like a jerk and she's mean and she's disrespectful and she's loud and all this stuff, I just wouldn't deal with them. But a lot of men are more desperate than I, and I was pretty desperate as a man back in the day. When woman desire and a man's delusional fantasy come together, it never ends well in the long run. Specifically correct, Mr. Moreno, German, because the long run is civilization itself. The long run is a child who's growing out of that relationship. And what the government does is capitalize on it, because that's what they're doing right now. Greetings, I like your channel. Thanks. What is it, Clifton say? Appreciate it. Hey, Bar Scotty, what's going on, man? Or woman. What is MGTOW? Secret Letters of a Hacker. MGTOW is men going their own way. It's kind of a reactionary response, a cultural response to feminism. It teaches men that they need to really just step away from dating and really reassess what they're getting out of it. But in practice, what it leads to is them abandoning marriage, and that's where I don't agree with them on. It's not just because I'm a Christian and I promote marriage, but it's because marriage is the only mechanism that we have to have a strong nuclear family. There is nothing else. The alternative is giving your kids to the state. That's what's going on now. And when you give your kids to the state, they become what you have now. A bunch of sex-crazed, entitled, right? Spoiled. Anyways. Motown, is that bad though? Sounds good. Oh, that's funny. Me, man. Me, single, good. Woman, single and happy, bad. But freedom, good. Uh, Selenophile, me man, me single good, woman single and happy bad, but my freedom good. I'm not too sure what you mean. It does sound kind of funny though. Hey, wait, I just got a donation. Hey, thanks for the awesome insight. Stay cool. Thanks for the free insight, bro. Hey, man. Hey, thanks for supporting the channel, Salmon Boa 420. Hey, man, you need to get out that weed though. You know what I'm saying? You gotta. All right, I'm not gonna rag on you. Hey, thanks, Salmon. So thanks for the awesome insight. Stay cool, and thanks for the free insight. Yeah, man. To be honest, nothing in life is free. I don't think. You know, I appreciate you contributing the value that you think is necessary. So thank you, man. It goes a long way. You're my first donation, man. All right, let's see. Q Elis 77W. I don't even see how buying a relationship is even fun or fulfilling in a way. Yeah, it's not, because it's literally transactional. Like, you know what's crazy? Hold on. Shout out to freaking Stefan Molyneux. Let me give you guys a brief preface on Stefan Molyneux. Stefan's an atheist. You know, I'm a Christian, but he be spitting that real sometimes, and I gotta acknowledge it. Stefan Molyneux built his channel not even demonetizing it, or not even monetizing it, not even having commercials run on it, nothing. He didn't get anything, not a penny from YouTube, strictly off of donations. This man got to 900,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I remember watching his YouTube channel grow. I was there when he was at like 30,000. I used to listen to him. And his views his subscriber count got all the way up to the high 900,000s. And I remember it sitting there, and I was like, what's going on? Like, why can't they let this guy get to 1 million? Like, it really started to look like his views were being like suppressed. Then later on, I look in the articles to see that he got banned from YouTube because of some person he had on, or they say he had some type of views. I'm like, bro, you're calling this guy a white nationalist, a racist? Like, really? Like, he's had black people on, he's had Hispanics on, he's had people of different ethnicities. He's arguing against. He has people who argue for racist views on his channel, and he's literally spitting game at them. Like, look, racism, blah blah, is stupid. They banned this guy. But anyways, Stefan Molyneux had a show, one of his call-in shows. He was explaining to this person calling in that you can't have a transactional. Love is not transactional a lot of times, because I don't know how he explained it, but this is the analogy he gave. He was like, you can't buy something from the grocery store, and the person who you have the exchange with, whether it be the cashier or the vendor, you can't then say, oh, by the way, love me. You can't force a level of intimacy with this person, because it's strictly value for value. But a lot of people, they think that the way that you get love is through transaction, but it's not. A lot of times love it's like, not only is it an action, it's an emotion. And when you combine those, it's something far from transaction. But the reason why I brought that up is because the lady said, would you say, I don't even see how being in a relationship is ever fun or fulfilling in a way. Yeah, because a lot of times you can't have transactional relationships and expect them to be anything more than that. So let's extrapolate that onto what Stefan was talking about. Stefan Molyneux was talking about how a lot of times people have these transactional relationships, whether they be intimate or not, and they expect more out of them, but you can't, because of the foundation. The foundation is set up in such a way as to which both parties are not thinking about anything but themselves. So when a person is saying, on the female side, is saying, oh, I want to feel validated in this man taking me out on a date and spending all this money on me, that's not love. That's just a transactional relationship. In other words, on a man's side, when he's saying, man, I really just want to act out these things I've been looking at in these adult films, it's literally transactional. Okay. Again, brother, you have wisdom way beyond your years. Hey, Abignone, I appreciate it. I pray for it. God says he'll give wisdom liberally to those who pray for it. So all you got to do is pray for it. And I know you must have wisdom because you're saying that. Sadly, women praise Trey songs. Yeah, because I don't know. There's something about. Well, I'm not even get into that. We're gonna go way off topic. So let's see here. the part that I left off at was there is something that a woman can do in order to kind of counteract this bubble. Because what is the consequences of the bubble? Let me get to the consequences. Hold on. I mean, I was talking about a little bit, talking about the wall and all that stuff. See, if a woman's lucky, she can ride this wave of validation all the way until she gets old and nobody really likes her, and there's a replacement of her on the market, where it's whether there's a woman who looks just like her, or the man's looking for variety and he sees something else and he forgets about this chick. There's always going to be someone to replace this beauty that she's trying so hard to capsulate on, or capitalize on. But what about the woman who deals with a man who she might really like, but he's only putting on this facade to show her like, oh, I'm this genuine man, or I'm the good man, and he cheats on her, or worse. What if he's masculine? She's like, oh, I love me a masculine man, but deep down, but because you didn't know him, but because you already opened your legs to him, because you guys already went on your dates and you guys have been intimate with each other, now you're attached to him. And guess what? He likes to put on wife beaters sometime and go to town on your temple. It's too late now. You don't necessarily learn how to have relationships with people just because you have thousands of them, but that's what a lot of women are doing. So I'm saying there are consequences that you guys can kind of use your common sense to understand of a woman who's acting like a bug zapper to a bunch of men. All these men are gravitating towards this freaking light, right? Oh man, there's gonna be consequences, man. I mean, think about it. If it's, I'm not even gonna go. Let me get back to it. So, what are other consequences? Once the woman has put all this effort into attracting these men, into being with these men, into sharing all these bodily fluids, this leads to a person feeling empty. Like, think about it. Let's take drugs for an example. You take drugs, you get this feeling. Now you're trying to chase that feeling. Once you're with this certain substance, it no longer suffices anymore. You have to go to a new potent type of feeling. You might go to, it's from weed. You might go to wax or ayahuasca, to more psychedelic stuff, to mushrooms. You're gonna go even more extreme because you start to build the tolerance. Now you need to get an even more potent, stimulative experience from what you're chasing. So this can become like a spiral of addiction and psychological torment to your own self, because it's a never-ending, unfulfilling, bottomless, fleeting desire. Pleasure leads to pain. That's what it says in Proverbs. But women, all right. I posted all these Instagram thoughty pictures. I'm getting all this attention, but it's just boring now. Like, I don't know. Like, you guys watching on TikTok. Like, I don't know. It's just something about the man who likes me. I just don't like them. How is that even possible? That is not how it was. I mean, here's the thing. Maybe you got, elbow slammed when you were a kid by your dad, or your mother neglected you. Maybe there's roots in your past that lead to the way you are. But just think about it. Like, when a girl likes a guy and a guy likes a girl, like in middle school and elementary school, it's innocent. But what happens when it becomes distorted? Well, sometimes as a woman, if you're attractive and men are just constantly throwing themselves at you. Have you guys ever seen World War Z? Shoot, I want to freaking... Nah, let me look at World War... I hope my channel don't get... I'm not even going to do it. Because my video might get flagged. Just picture this. You guys ever seen World War Z with Brad Pitt? I think it was Brad Pitt. And the zombies are just like freaking piling on each other, and they're trying to pile on each other to climb over this border wall. That's how men are to women. The more attractive, the more of a pile of men you're going to get. But a woman can get desensitized to this because she's gonna be like, man, like this validation, the likes. It's like it's no longer stimulating. I need men to grovel to me. I need men to send me money now. I need men to confess to me. It can get kind of sick. Now, just think about, in the same way a person going cold turkey off of like heroin or drugs. What about a person who goes cold turkey off of validation? Is it possible? Especially when your society says it's not, it's you go girl, you need to be sexually liberated. What about the long-term or short-term consequences to weaning off of that or trying to get off of that? It can be very startling or jarring for a woman if she even wants to try. So in a way it becomes addicting. In a way, especially if society supports it, it becomes almost like a permanent thing to where she just can't help. You remember in the video, in the email where I'm not saying this is her, but just imagine, like there's definitely a similarity. This woman is like, I don't know where it came from. The lady in my video, the last video, what was the last video? Freaking, when your ego, a woman destroyed by her own ego or is defeated by her own ego or something like that. The woman said, I wasn't even brought up like this, but for some reason, I just can't help but try and impress others with the way I look. I just really need to have the sex appeal. I gotta make sure that I turn heads and turn eyes. This is what the woman. This is what's creating the woman. So you guys can kind of brainstorm on the consequences, because I can go on about that. But how do you counteract that? Because think about it. The world is telling the woman these couple of things. The woman gets into her mind. And from that, it gets into her body. And from that, it gets into her womb. The woman is taught that she's not good enough unless she looks like the princess. The woman is taught that she's not good enough unless she's busting it on a TikTok video. The woman is taught that she's not good enough unless she's in a red silhouette in a silhouette channel, in a red camera in a silhouette challenge. The woman is taught that she's not good enough until she's independent from a man. The woman is taught that in order to feel good inside, you must have sexual experiences. So all of these things are taboo. They used to be taboo, and it's something that the woman is taught to embrace. And that's how you get this bubble of desire. That is how you get it. Because that on the opposite end is what the man is chasing. The man is chasing the sex dream. He's chasing being validated by the level of attractiveness his girlfriend looks like. He's chasing using women as masturbatory devices. He's chasing variety. Like, I want a thick girl, I want an Asian girl, I want a light skinned girl, I want a girl with blue eyes, I want a girl with wavy hair, I want a girl who's thick, I want a girl who might be a little bit taller than her. I want, like, another fleeting desire. So, all you have to do as a woman is be the opposite. Being the opposite. So, read a little bit of comics to see. I'll take a little intermission to read some of these comments. Is there a solution to all hope lost for men? All right, I'll tell you two things. And I hope God doesn't. I hope God doesn't upset at me with this. Because as a Christian, the solution is in that Bible, specifically KJV. But at the very least, the morals that the Bible teaches, such as doing what's right, that is the solution. And it's basically the opposite of what the world is telling everyone to do right now. Not be promiscuous, not have a lot of sex partners. Stuff is that. To practice your morality so that's what Aaron's saying. To practice your morality is the solution. Secret letters of a hacker. Interesting idea. So find a morally equal partner. Yes, sir. Equally yoked. Makes sense. You got it, brother. Secret letters of a hacker. I'm coming out of a 13-year relationship and stumbled across the channel. It's been insightful and help. Excuse me. Thanks. Hey, secret letters of a hacker. I'm glad you took time out of your hacking, your time out of your server breaching practices. No, I'm just joking around. Yeah, thanks for taking the time to participate in the little chat we got going here. So going back to it, some of the solutions of a woman being opposite of how society teaches her. We got to go back and we have to discuss once again. I'm going to keep pounding this on you guys' head if you guys haven't heard it already. The woman has been taught off of principles such as this. Going back to the book that I quoted in the past, The Devil and Karl Marx. I forgot the author. The Devil and Karl Marx. Just look that up. The Devil and Karl Marx. It's going to be a red. Let me get the author for you right now, just to put some homage on that man's name. The Devil and see, YouTube don't even auto-populate it. Paul Kangor, The Devil and Karl Marx. This book is fire, absolute fire, because what it does is it gives a history of Marxism, to how it has affected American culture. Now, in that book, I'm going to say it again. I know people have probably already heard me say it. I said it twice in 2 videos. But Kate Millett, the author of Sexual Politics, she gave the blueprint on how you destroy the family. Because in her mind, the way to destroy the patriarchy was to destroy the family. So the way that you destroy the family is what? You promote promiscuity, eroticism, homosexuality. You have to promote that, and you have to get rid of monogamy. You have to promote non-monogamous, polygamous, promiscuous, erotic culture in order to destroy family. So, how must the woman be if the world is teaching the woman to what? Be promiscuous, erotic? That's what we see on Instagram. Have multiple partners, to not settle down. She has to do the opposite. She has to get married. She has to have as low of a body count as possible. She has to really get serious about the man she gets in bed with. She has to not be as, what does it look like to be non-erotic? What does it look like to be non-erotic? It means you don't arouse men by your dressing. It means you dress modestly. Now, a lot of women are going to say, well, I dress like in a sweatshirt and men treat me like this. Look, I don't know what to tell you, but the solution should not be, now I'm just going to wear something that's even so scantily clad, I make even the Mormons want to approach me. What is that about? It's sick. It's sick in the mind. What is so cool about appealing to a man's base desires to a point where he can't help himself but approach you? It's almost like you're manipulative, because that's like saying, man, I just can't help but throw some money on the ground and pick it up and let people know, oh, it was mine, and so the women can approach me. It's such an insecure and weak-minded thing to say. You're so weak as a person that you need to manipulate others in order to feel good about yourself. See, I do it for myself. You know, I mean, okay, so what women go out here? What women go out here? They want to look. They want to do something so good for themselves that they scar their face, so that they put a permanent blemish on their face, so that they're not going to be attractive. Women say that they do things for themselves, but it just so happens that it always makes them prettier than what they were without it. Come on, man. If everybody was blind, nobody would even care about that stuff. But deep down inside, women are doing it because they know they're getting attention, whether it's from women, so that they can brag about the fact that they are better than other women in some competitive hierarchy in their mind, or where they want to feel love, they want to feel attention, they get the power from men approaching them. So, please, go somewhere with that. Let me tell you
Let me tell you something. I'm trying not to sexualize a woman, but it is hard when I have to go to the gym. Oh man, I might be get descriptive because this might offend some people, but that's what women do. They offend people when they're in tight clothes and they're stretching and they're moving and they got some stuff open and they're like, I'm trying not to sexualize women, but women are making it hard for me. What do you want me to do? Do I need to walk with blinders? Is this how they want me to walk? Do I need to have this? And then whenever a woman comes into my vicinity when I'm working out at the gym, do I have to just... But let me tell you what. If I ever would approach a woman, you know what woman I would approach, and I would be genuine and I would be sincere. Not to say that I don't respect women, because women who be wearing painted on clothes, I still respect you, but I'm trying not to look at you. Women who can at least put a freaking sweater over their butt. That's cool. Like that shows me that, hey, I know I might got it, but I don't necessarily want people to be looked like that. I don't want to be perceived like that. I might have a man. I just don't want you to take it the wrong way. That's cool. That's something that I actually want to, that stands out. Secret Letters of a Hacker says mind games at the gym. It's literally a mind game. Women are always expecting men to be considerate, to be emotionally aware, to have a high emotional IQ. But when it comes to that, oh no, you're just gonna have to accept it. You know, you're gonna need to, even though I dress up as a fireman, even though I dress up as a policeman, you better not call 911. And just because you call 911 and I was on the street looking like a police officer, that don't mean I gotta help you. How dare you expect me? How dare you think that I'm a officer? Even though I'm dressing like one, I got the badge, the gun, I got the uniform. How dare you? Come on. Now, let's see. Do we do the same thing by wearing tight shirts? Let's see here. To be honestly fair, it depends. There are a man who, let's think about this. This is the argument I'm going to make because I've come across that same question. Who is the more sexual of the species? Who is more visual? It's obviously the man. The man is more visually attracted than a woman is. Because a woman, she can fall in love with a guy's walk, she can fall in love with the way the guy talks or the way the guy moves with his personality. But a woman is chased by a man regardless of how evil she is inside, just by how thick she is, just by how pretty she is. So I don't think it's a good comparison because a woman is not going to, on a balance of probability, well, first off, women don't approach men. They don't initiate. So it's obvious that they don't have the same level of sexual potency. Now here's what I will say. As a man, you got these men out here who are wearing like pretty scantily stuff in the gym. I don't agree with it either because it does seem like you're trying to involve or attract a certain amount of attention. That I can agree on that part. So, getting back to what I was saying, if the world is teaching you to be promiscuous and dress erotically, what happens if you do the opposite of a woman? As a woman, you're dressing in a way where you're courteous of understanding that, hey, men struggle with this. Generally, women do not struggle with this, but men do. So let me respect that and let me dress in such a way where not only am I showing courtesy for men, but more importantly, I'm showing that I'm, what you trying to see under here? No, you're gonna have to get married for this. What you want to see on her head? Oh no, you got to be my husband in order to see this. You are putting back the scarcity and the specialty, the special nature of your body, because it is valued, because it is sacred, it is something to be wanted, but only to be obtained by one. That's what's more valuable. Because what's the opposite? The opposite is you are dressing like a thought. And what is so special about it? I just don't get it. Whenever I see women look like this, I admit, yeah, you look good, but there's nothing special about it. If anything, it's kind of yucky. It's kind of like, like the one who I get to impregnate and have children with, other men are constantly sexualizing. I don't want a woman like that. She is not anyone that you would want to take home to your mom. It is embarrassment if you bring her home. She is an embarrassment to herself. She's an embarrassment to you. Now, some men in their own demented minds are going to say, oh man, I love the fact that other men looking at my wife like that. You are sick in the head, because what you're saying is, in order for me to feel good about myself, other men need to be sexually aroused by my wife. You might be a cuck. Hey man, she good, huh? You like the way I look, man? You see the way that, like, why would you even imagine a man who's married to a woman talking about his own wife to that about another? Imagine a man who's married to a woman talking about his woman to another man in a sexual way. Like, oh man, she good, huh? She look like, dude, like, why are you advertising your wife like that? Do you want other men to sleep with her? Do you want other men to, like, think about her sexually in your head? It's sick. It's sick. It is absolutely sick, and that's what our culture has created. But let me get back to it. The opposite of a woman being modest, it doesn't just end with the body, it doesn't just end with her clothes. It exudes into how she is in a classy behavior. See, the woman nowadays is all rah. She always got something to say. You know, she got super developed neck muscles to always have an argument or disagreement about what she's saying. A modest woman, she's prudent. She's wise. She's sophisticated. She's classy. She's kept. She's, in a way, she's intimidating. Because when a woman is modest, it's like, dang, I gotta be on a different level to mess with this chick. I know there's some men out there, at least back in my day when I was playing reverse whack-a-mole with my wiener. Now I joke about that, you guys, but in all honesty, it's not good to be a promiscuous man either. But I'm saying, like, back in the day when I was flippant and non-discriminate with who I was getting involved with, women who were thick and women who were easy pickings. Because I noticed very early on that like most women are insecure, but a lot of women who are like that, who dress like that, they're even more insecure than the other ones. So they're kind of like an easy target. But back to the other woman who's modest, who kind of carries herself in a way like, hey, there's women out here who carry themselves in such a modest way that they repel certain men. And that's not to say that they're not going to get bad men approaching them, but I don't know if you guys know what I'm saying, but it's like the modest woman, the way she is, you got to respect it off rip. You can't even question it. You have to operate around her in a way to match that, to be congruent with that, or she's not going to talk to you. Shoot, she might have a dad who might beat you up. This is what she's communicating. Like, my dad raised me right. I got a good family. I got a good thing going. I got good prospects. So you better not come to me and approach me in a way that you're trying to get something out of me and take some transactional, right? That's what I'm explaining. But women don't get it. Women think that, oh, if I'm promiscuous and I show all my parts, I'm letting you know, like, hey, this is what you're going to get. No, you're saying this is what all men have already gotten. You're not saying that, oh, this is special. You're saying men have had me and this is what's on display. This is the market that I'm putting myself on. I'm being a piece of meat. So once again, what is the consequence of developing this bubble of desire? This this promiscuity, this immodesty. You are slitting your wrist in a ocean of sharks, and you're expecting not to get predators. The opposite, being modest. What are you doing? You're saying, look, I'm going to operate in such a safe, wise way that I'm going to demand respect out of men just by how I dress, just by how I talk. Man, what is a better alternative than that? Now, feminine. Sometimes women are feminine. Sometimes women are not. A lot of times nowadays women almost like aren't. Because when you grow up with a single mother, especially in the black community or in a lot of communities now where single motherhood is very, very high in the Western societies, the woman has to play both roles. And a lot of times what happens is because there is no father in the home, there's no order. When there's no order, there's a vacuum. And whatever fills that vacuum, whether it be TV, sometimes a good fill-in, like an uncle or a mentor, a lot of times it's just the TV, the government, whatever I can muster up from my neighbors, the broken society and the families of my friends. You pick up all that stuff. So what happens is the woman picks up what's being taught. And what's being taught nowadays is what? The woman is supposed to be this go-getter. She's supposed to be the initiative, assertive strength. She's supposed to be a strong black woman. She's supposed to be empowered. I'm liberated. I'm free. She's supposed to be this industrious, opportunistic goddess. It sounds good when you first hear it, but that's how the devil always works. It always starts with something good, but when you look into the future and how it is actually practically, it's the opposite. So the woman is taught to be this masculine woman. Well, how convenient. The man who wants to sleep with you, who has a fantasy about you, he's not going to care. He's going to say, oh, well, I mean, she is kind of she is kind of masculine. She is kind of like attitudey. She is a little bit toxic, but yeah, I mean, I want to sleep with her. Hey, she's really cute. Hey, I mean, I want to be her husband. Hey, we already got a kid. He's not gonna hold her accountable at all. So, therefore, the woman becomes masculine in consequence. But what is feminine? Feminine is you're kind of waiting for a man to lead in a way. You're doing what you can do to be independent in a way, but you're waiting for a man to fill in that place. But the woman is taught that she doesn't need a man. She needs to be independent and eternally. She needs to be infinitely independent to a point to which she communicates to men that she doesn't need them. But being feminine is what you should be. If you want to get rid of all the consequences of having this bubble and living in this fairy tale land, you do the opposite, which is being feminine. Being feminine, once again, it demands a certain man because only certain men can fill that spot. You cannot be a feminine woman and deal with a feminine man because it's going to be repulsive. It's going to repel. So when you're feminine, you're going to be, it's going to fit naturally with the man who's already knows what he's got going on. He's already in his own masculine. He already showing masculine traits, which is how he's naturally supposed to be. Which is how God created him. Now, the womb thing. Being a woman who's trying to get married, who's marriage minded, is something that society has taught that you should not be, because the positing of the feminists say that it is enslavement. The patriarchal relationship, it is oppression. It is inherently oppression. The power dynamic is always screwed. It's corrupt. So the what's been taught is patriarchy bad, no marriage. Oh, what a coincidence! The same thing MGTOW's teaching. Anyways, when you're saying no marriage, when you're preaching no marriage, what is the woman going to do? She's going to have her hot girl summer. She's going to do what she needs to do with whoever she wants to do and whoever wants to do with her. She's going to be indiscriminate with the partners. She's not going to have any long-term mindset about her pursuit of relationships. And how convenient as to which it is a way that she can encapsulate so much more influence, because she's showing that she's on the market. She's getting more and more validating experiences from men because they want to fill in that spot. She doesn't want these men. She's probably chasing some stupid dream. Oh, that's another video. Anyways, that's another video I'm going to talk about in the future. This woman who's in this cycle of like chasing this certain type of man, this quote unquote high value man. But anyways, in order to be promiscuous, in order to have this influence, you have to be promiscuous because, or at least perceive that you are. You got to at least dress like you are. You got to at least act like you are. You act in such a way that you don't want a relationship. And when a man says he likes you, all of a sudden you don't like him. When a man says what he wants, you're like, oh, well, I don't know if I want that. So men and women are kind of taught that in order to get the best out of men and women in a date, we need to act like we don't like you in order for you to like them. It's very distorted. How about you just say, hey, look, I want to get married, and this is what I want. There's nothing wrong with women saying that, being marriage-minded, but instead women like to play this game, and women play this game now, which they play the game of non-relationships or sterile relationships where where they're doing this thing with a man and they're not ever going to get married. But what this does is, because you didn't have a long-term goal, you end up getting the short-term consequences and the long-term consequences, because you don't tell him that you want to get married, so he's not going to expect it. He's going to get the milk from the cow. He's going to toss you. So what happens is a woman ends up going back into the bubble of desire, where she's back on the market once again for the fourth time, looking for a man, only with more baggage. But it doesn't matter because the man wants to sleep with her. So whatever baggage she has, he will accept it. This is what I'm saying. It's like this crazy cycle where this woman gets a very distorted view, but it's because she didn't practice being marriage-minded. So that's what you have to be as a woman. Being marriage-minded, it distills a lot of the men out of your life, because a lot of men don't want to be married. A lot of these men who were saying, oh, I don't want to get married, toss them like you don't need them. A lot of times men say they don't want to be married because they don't want to put on the helm of responsibility that is revolved around it. Yes, you can have some of your finances taken from you, but you can fail a business 97% of the time if you start one. Oh, I'm not going to start a business, man, because 97% of businesses fail, man, and a lot of them end up being lost in the first 2 years. 50% of them are done. It's like, bro, okay, fine. Leave that woman for a man who wants to marry her, and let him step up to the plate and let him continue society on to the future. Whereas these other men who want to live these eternally sterile relationships with women, and they don't want to get married, or they want to have broken families, you're only gonna what else is the only thing that's gonna happen to these people who don't want to get married? They're gonna have broken families where the kid's gonna be touched, where the kid's gonna be abused, where the kid's gonna be brought to a gang, where the kid's gonna drop out of school, where the kid's gonna grow up to be a drive-by shooter. This is literally the fate that you were sentencing your children if you don't want to get married. But being marriage-minded, once again, you distill the men out of your life who you're not supposed to be with, who don't want to take on the responsibility, and what's left of the men who are willing to take on that mantle. Okay, so wrapping up for the woman. The woman being feminine, being modest, being marriage-minded, she gets and she unlocks this real power of finding the right man. Bam! Instead of going in this stupid bubble of desire that all these women are trapped in, it's like a rat race in a way that nobody wins. It's a lose-lose scenario that only leaves you broken, dying alone with a dog, like Kevin Samuels says. It's ridiculous. So now, to wrap up, these men, when you acknowledge these women, because they're everywhere. They're everywhere. You guys think that bro. So, I remember I told you guys about the woman who was an 8, right? No. Understand this, my friend. Just because you're 8 in looks, that doesn't mean that you can't be a 5 in looks and become an 8 with looks with L'Oreal or with Neutrogena or with makeup and plastic surgery and all this stuff. There are women, a lot of women who you guys don't know, who are not that pretty, but because they got this makeup, because they got these filters, because they can really manipulate the image of their own selves, they got you deceived. You guys as men, you have to pop this bubble. And the way you can do it is what I'm going to get into. But let me just first explain. There are so many more women who really aren't that attractive. And just because they're not attractive to you, that doesn't mean another man won't worship the feet she walks on. Now, I know there are some exceptions, or I can't take it too much of an extreme, because, you know, if you're morbidly obese, but even if you got some weight on you, even if you kind of like flabby and you're even if this is going every which way when you're walking, men are still going to lust after you. Men are still going to be like, I want that. And they might even marry you that. So I'm trying to explain that there's so much more men out there who are going to subsidize and they're going to literally subsidize a woman's way of thinking, a woman's behavior, just because they want to get with her. So as a man, you have a responsibility to hold this woman accountable. And if I can encapsulate everything I'm saying of how you're supposed to treat women in today's society, it is like you have to literally hold her accountable in any way you can. Because what you're going to do is you're going to put her on notice and you're going to separate yourself. So let me look at some of the comments that I got. Let me get some water here. All right, let's look at some. Do we have the same thing wearing? Hey, where are all my females in the chat? All my mates are like that, bro, and it makes me sad. And they all talk about it, and they all talk about is objectifying women. Karen Thompson. Yeah, it's sad because there's a lot of men, even in these MGTOW spaces, even these quote-unquote red pill spaces. All it takes is that woman that they really want to really they'll throw all that stuff out the window. All it takes is a woman who's thick enough, who's got the right body, who's got the right face, who fits that image in their mind. They're gonna throw all that stuff out the window. Jody Love, this might sound offensive to some, but how should a woman control her mouth? You gotta be prudent, you gotta be modest, you have to be feminine. But at the end of the day, it comes down to doing what's right sometimes. Well, that's another thing. A lot of women don't know what's right. If she doesn't know how to get out over that herself, then let's just say you're in a relationship. Let's just say there's a man in a relationship with a woman. And her mouth is kind of like out of hand. This man has to say, look, I don't appreciate that, and that's not what we're going to do. In the same way, a woman can do the same thing to the man. Asserting the boundary, it can teach a man or woman, if they want to continue with you, that, hey, this is not going to work. And if they don't comply, then there's someone they're going to have to leave and lose out on, man or a woman. Another thing about controlling your mouth is, like, a lot of times our mouths are connected to our emotion. So if a person, especially a woman, if she could say, okay, I know I want to say something, but let me let let me allow the anger that I'm feeling to go from 80% to maybe 30% before I say something. How about I don't react, and how about I don't try and get over on people with how I'm feeling in the moment? Why don't I let this moment pass? I think a lot of times that'll help. All right. Aaron Daniels says men suffer from beta male simpism. Yeah, it's crazy. It's very sad, and that's the reason why there's this bubble of desire that I'm talking about. I've had this problem, Aaron, for years. My last relationship was simp level over 9,000, and I've only realized this now 5 years later. Karen Thompson. Hey, but Mr. Thompson, you acknowledge it, because some men are going to be like, they're not going to want to, and it's going to have very drastic consequences, if not for them, they're for their children. So at least you acknowledge it, man. At least you acknowledge it. Society be like, Walter says, society be like, cry face and then embarrass face. Exo delusional. Exo says, facts, James, appreciate it. Naruto Uzumaki. If you're a godly man, what to do? I could not find a godly woman, and I've dated and talked to many women. I'm 27. Look, you got Mr. Uzumaki. If you're, I'm sorry, Mr. Hokage. If you're really about that God stuff, you know that God's going to give you a woman. It's coming. So if you operate with that understanding and the faith that you have towards that, you know God's going to give you a woman. You have the desire for it. God's not going to allow you to be sexless and have all this burning desire. Paul speaks on it in Corinthians. He says, those who burn, it's better to marry than to burn, which implies that God is going to supply that woman who's going to meet that need that you have, that desire of having a woman, the sexual desire. So you work on that. Work on being the person who you think your woman wants you to be. A provider, someone who's in shape, someone who knows what he wants, someone who can assert his boundaries, someone who is respectable. All these things you work on. That'll help you, and that'll get your mind off of what you're not getting right now, which is not a woman. All right. Gloria Olatula says, just be patient. She'll come God's perfect time. Yep, that's what I was explaining. Hey, Karen Thompson, yeah, no problem. Exo, you got to believe in yourself, even if you believe in nothing, but I accept all. All right. So I think the last part of the video I was explaining, and as we wind down this video, I'm trying to explain that the man has to hold women accountable. But let me get into what that actually looks like. Because I noticed things about myself. I'm obviously a late bloomer. But think about it. Think about this. Where am I at right now? I'm in my own place. Thank the Lord in heaven. Thank the Lord in heaven. I'm not dependent on anybody but God. I don't depend on my parents anymore. I'm a late bloomer. Okay? Coming out of albeit California with the craziest cost of living. I justified, wrongly so, that, save, stack my money, blah, blah, blah. No. I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with my parents. I'm done trying to cope with the fact that I can't pay and I don't want a roommate. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to go move to another state. I'm done. But now how am I? Now what is how am I as a man? I got this spot. I can burn my incense. My mom ain't going to tell me what I can and can't have, when I can and cannot burn incense. She's going to say, hey, so I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. I'm ever since January when I moved here into Houston, the level of serenity that I've been able to experience, you won't be able to know what this is like until you experience it yourself, living on your own. But I'm bringing that up to say that the way that I'm living and how I'm living, I value it so much that it is worthy of protecting. My space, it has consequently given me boundaries. Now the boundaries that I have, because I value them so much, my boundary, my home is my boundary. My corners and my walls that I pay for, that I got a lease on. This is my joint. This is my spot. It's clean. I take care of it. You are not going to come in here and mess this up. I don't care if you're my friend. I don't care if you're somebody I'm dating. You better put some respect on it. But I'm not just talking about keeping it clean and when I'm hospitable, make sure you obey the house rules. No, I'm talking about my peace. I got peace. This is my establishment. I am established. This is what men must do. You must become established, because if you're not, you're going to be trying to take. You're going to be trying to leech off of other people. It's more likely you're going to do that. But what does that look like? For me, the way it manifests is that I have become more and more independent as a person, which means I know myself, which means I've grown confidence around my competence, as to which the things that I've gotten done for myself and sustaining myself, it has made me even more confident as a man. This is what you must do as a man. You must become competent and confident. You must have assertion of your boundaries. You must be established. But why? Why? I'm explaining. Ain't nobody gonna lay on my bed if you don't respect me. Ain't nobody going to sit on my couch if you don't respect me. Ain't nobody gonna eat out of my fridge if you don't respect me. Ain't nobody gonna watch my TV. You're not even gonna come in here. I don't even, bruh. For the longest time, I didn't even want company when I got here. I was enjoying so much of my own time that I'm like, I'm okay with being alone. Like I feel like I'm growing in love in myself. I'm growing my own space, I'm like sovereign here in my own spot. But you're becoming established in a different facet of a man. And what that does is it's like you have something worthy of protecting because you value it. But you're not going to, look, let me give you an example. I work so hard. Well, no, I don't. I'm not even going front. My job is really easy. Another note. The money that I put into this place, I ain't going to get it back. The time that I got to wake up on Sunday or on Monday to be at work on Monday, 7:30 a.m. I got a schedule. If a woman's not going to respect that, then she's playing with my she's messing with the fact that I may or may not be able to wake up on time for my job. If she's late to the date, she's disrespecting the schedule that I have aligned. She's not holding the schedule to as important as she should. No, you're out. You're out. You don't respect me. You don't respect my schedule. You don't respect my time. You don't respect the consideration that you don't respect the social contract that we had. Pfft, what? You're not going to put up with it. Maybe you won't pop her bubble. You'll let it pop itself. However, what I'm trying to explain is this. You're going to get women out of your life who are not in this stupid, distorted sense of their own ego. You're going to get rid of women who have no respect for you because they believe you're disposable, because they have no respect for men in general. They don't necessarily even respect themselves. Why do you want to deal with people like this? It is contrary to your own peace and serenity. This home that you want to protect, the level of sanity that you have, the baseline, you're not going to jeopardize that for some stupid endeavor of fantasy. And the more you build onto this, let's just say I'm making even more money, I have even more material objects, or I have even more investments. You're not going to allow people to jeopardize that because it's what you worked on. You worked so hard on it. Why are you going to let somebody literally squander it? Why are you going to marry somebody who's not going to have respect for that? You get what I'm saying? You're going to move and operate in such a way that you're going to be more wise, you're going to be more cautious, you're going to be more aware of potential danger. a potentially dangerous woman, a potentially toxic woman, a potentially unpunctual woman, a potentially a woman with an attitude. You're going to be very aware of these things. But once you become this person, it's not about the technique. Sometimes the technique can help you. Like, hey, if you call me at a certain time, I can't really answer because I gotta be asleep. See, it's gonna operate on how you're being, and that's why all these dating stuff, they're good in a way, but sometimes it can become so technical that that's all you do, and you don't become. So being something. When I remember when I was looking at all this dating stuff, and this person said you have to be this way, you can't act like this way, and you can't do the technique. I was like, yeah, but why can't you fake it till you make it? Because you're going to get so caught up on the technique a lot of times that you're not going to become. And then when the real hard stuff comes, you're not actually going to be that person. So you're going to act back in the way that you used to act, which is weak. So saying all that to say this, become a man that's worthy of the modest woman, the feminine woman, the woman that's marriage minded. That is how you counteract that as a man. And it takes time. But I'm telling you, the time that I put into these trapezius muscles right here, the time that I put into this, all right, look, what I'm trying to explain is this. I know that I look good. I know that I got good parts about me, some ugly parts, but I know the parts that I worked on, you're not gonna be able to just disregard it. You gotta respect it. So imagine a person who has built their business, who has built their space, who has built their empire. They're going to be very serious. They're going to demand respect, just like that modest, that feminine, that woman that was marriage minded. That's what I'm trying to explain. Now, here's the thing. Another caveat, or one thing I want to mention. I'm not saying that you need to build your empire and then, wait for the woman at the finish line because she don't want to run with you. She want to be at the finish line. I'm saying that I want to say that there's nothing wrong with getting in a relationship with a woman, and you might not be the most financially capable right now, but at least you can provide for yourself. At least you got your own space. Your rags to riches journey, from then on, you can still meet a woman who's 10%, when you're on 10% rags to riches, when you at 100% is riches, you're at 10%. It's still okay for you to find a woman like that because it's awesome that way. Because at least you know that you can trust her because she was with you when you was eating Kellogg's cereal. Now you guys are eating caviar, so that's actually a good thing, and that's where I'll end it off. Man, my voice is about to freaking pop. You guys got any final questions before I head out? Karen Thompson says straight facts, brothers, and appreciate it. Appreciate the 100. All right. XO, James Gregory. Yeah, bro, you need your alone time for real. Know yourself and you will know God. Get away from the toxicity. Yeah, and the right surrounding and environment alone is all that really matters. No disrespect for real, James. The attitude and vibe, bro. Hey, much appreciated, XO. Thank you for participating, man. Naruto Uzumaki, just want to say I appreciate you, man. Hey, thank you, Mr. Uzumaki. It goes a long way, sometimes as people being YouTube talking heads, it can be kind of overbearing in a way. Not to sound spoiled, but we all have our job here. I'm doing mines right now. I appreciate you for participating. Yeah, you took time out of your freaking Sunday. I don't know what time it is for you. Right now it's 7:07 for me. I appreciate the fact that you took time out of your day to watch this video, man. Because that's your time. Jody Love, yeah, I really appreciate the advice you give for us young people. Hey, I'm not that old myself. I'm only 28, but hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Jody. Hey, thanks, Mr. Thompson, for the comment. Great stream. Thanks for the stream, German. German says, thanks for the stream. I hope you do more live streams in the future. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. I'm definitely going to be doing this. I'm gonna try and do this weekly, guys. That's gonna be the plan. So a lot of times these videos are gonna be impromptu and they're gonna be kind of like my thoughts, and they're gonna be improvisational. But eventually I'm gonna get to a more structured format. But for now, I appreciate you guys. I think I read all the information. Salmon Boa 420. Thanks for the $10, man. Appreciate it. It's definitely it goes longer than you think it does. Your donation. So, any other questions? I'm gonna wrap up in the coming 2 minutes. I'll answer any questions you guys have. Another thing I wanted to mention to everybody is if you guys have any emails you guys have questions on, just send me an email. A lot of times people send me emails, and what I'll do is if you don't want to do a one-on-one coaching session, I'll just say, send me an email and I'll try and give you a general response. So what I'll do right now is I'll put in the description my email for questions in the chat, or in the description. I'm gonna do that right now. Email your personal questions, or email your questions here. It's gonna be jamesraygregory.yt for YouTube @gmail.com. jamesraygregory.yt @gmail.com. So, if you guys, let's see here, I got even more questions. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys. You guys have a good day. Try and do something productive for the remainder of the day you guys have left, and then do 1,000 of those. Just do something small and productive. This is what I've been trying to do, and it's really hard, but I'm getting at it. These videos are a testament to it. Do things that are small throughout the day, so that in the long term, when you've done 1,000 of those each day, you're not going to really be able to imagine what you've accomplished. But just start small and continue small and be consistent. So, let's see. Would you have any advice for breaking addictions? I know that's deep. So, it's chill if you don't want to answer right now. I've struggled with porn my most of my life. Let's see here. Addictions. To be honest, I'd have to ask you some questions off topic, or off the air that may or may not be personal. So if you have any, if you have like a more specific issue, just go ahead and send it to me on the email, because this one is a deep question, Mr. Thompson. And I'm gonna be making a video about this in the future. So go ahead and send me an email a little bit more descriptive, and I'll ask you some questions. So with that, I put my email in the description, Mr. Thompson. So what I'll do is I'll end it. Wish I could give you more advice, but I don't want to give you the wrong advice. All right, you guys. So you guys have a good day and take care. All right.